What's up, everybody out there? How you doing? I want to thank you guys for tuning back in over here to my channel, Pepe's Point of View. Um, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the Supreme Court. They have handed down pretty much a ruling that says that cities can punish people for sleeping in public places. And I'm getting this information from NPR. It came out June 28th. And that led me to think about what is considered homelessness, like what would the category be? And not only that, what is the definition of homelessness? Let me say it that way. And not only that, I start to think about, the cities with the largest homeless population. Now, I know, we talk a lot about the Bay Area, that would be San Francisco and Oakland, California, only because I've been out there quite a few times. And so I am aware of that. And so I'll start to think and wonder, like, who is affected by this? Also, too, let me ask you this question as well. Um, Being that I do work in education, I found out not too long ago in the city or the town that I live in that we actually have a significant number of people that are homeless. And I was so shocked by it because I just didn't think that we would have such a large homeless population um, where I reside. Not only that, I do know that there are a lot of people who live in hotels. It's just what it is. Whether they're living in hotels or in extended stays. And the person that was having this conversation with me, the person actually brought it up. She was saying, well, some of these hotels, you have to be out of them, or that we have uh, centers where you can actually live in for, temporary housing. And I think you have to be out of them in about 3 weeks or so. So it just kind of really hurt my heart to think that, we had a homeless population that was actually pretty much a problem. And so, as I said, basically, since I do work in education, the conversation came up because the young lady who was coming to, I don't know if she was trying to get her GED, she was doing something. It was some kind of program that she was a part of. And the lady said she was surprised to see her again because she hadn't seen her in a while. And she basically told her that she had a housing situation that needed to be kind of taken care of. And as I said again, this led me to just go like, wow, I didn't know that it was really a problem. Now, I've seen maybe one or two homeless people. And when I say homeless people, I mean this person was actually pushing a cart, a shopping cart, and that's just only one person, you know, that I've seen around my town. But, in other bigger cities, I just know that it is a problem. So anyway, without going on into that, what I want to do is I'm going to give you some statistics. But before I give you these statistics, what I want to do is I actually want to talk to you guys about this article that has come out uh, regarding the Supreme Court and its ruling. And again, NPR, and it says the Supreme Court says cities can punish people for sleeping in public places. In its biggest decision on homelessness in decades, the U.S. Supreme Court today ruled that cities can ban people from sleeping and camping in public places. The justices, in a 6-3 decision along ideological lines, overturned lower court rulings that deemed it cruel and unusual under the Eighth Amendment to punish people for sleeping outside if they had nowhere else to go. Writing for the majority, Justice Gorsuch, I can't pronounce the last name, I told you I can butcher a last name, said, homelessness is complex. Its causes are many, but he said federal judges do not have any special competence to decide how cities should deal with this. The Constitution's Eighth Amendment serves many important functions, but it does not authorize federal judges to risk those rights and responsibilities from the American people in their place dictate this nation's homelessness population, or excuse me, homeless policy, he wrote. In a dissent, Judge Sotomayor said the decision focused only on the needs of cities, but not the most vulnerable. She said sleep is a biological necessity, but this decision leaves a homeless person with an impossible choice: either stay awake or be arrested. Wow. Oh my gosh. Stay awake or be arrested. Come on. The court's decision is a win not only for the small Oregon city of Grants Pass, which brought the case, but also for dozens of Western localities that had urged the High Court to grant them more enforcement powers as they grapple with record high rates of homelessness. And let's just be honest, homelessness can also be, I hate to say it this way, but kind of like an eyesore, public eyesore, especially when it comes to business owners. And I want to assume that maybe this is what this is about. You know, if you're a business owner, the last thing you want to do is have some people sleeping outside your business. I'm going to assume that maybe that's what the problem is. It's pretty much where they're sleeping versus them sleeping. I want to assume that that's the issue. They said the lower court rulings had tied their hands and tried to keep public places open and safe for everyone. But advocates for the unhoused say the decision won't solve the bigger problem and could make life much harder for the quarter of a million people living on the streets, in parks, and in their cars. Where do people experiencing homelessness go if every community decides to punish them for their homelessness? Listen, not only that, and I know people are talking about people who are homeless. And as I said, I want to talk more about this, the definition of homelessness, uh, so we can get a better understanding of that as well. But now people are, you know, the working class people, the middle class people, right? Now it's like some people have to get like a part-time job, or as you want to call it, a side hustle, or most people just probably starting their, you know, own businesses and things like that, you know, to increase their income because the cost of living is just so high. I mean, it is extremely high, the cost of living. And so, to be quite honest with you, I think all of us are pretty much on the verge of homelessness as it relates to just housing in general. Because now, you know, like, as I said, where I live, I mean, housing is just, I mean, it makes no sense how high, you know, it is just to pay for housing. And being that I live in a college town, everything is catered more towards now the college students. And I have to say, when I was a student and I was attending college, I didn't care about paying the rent. I really did. You know, it's like, okay, I'm a college student, I'm paying the rent. It is what it is. I'm not thinking about that. I really didn't have a good sense of, I would say, prioritizing money. That was only until I graduated and then I started working, and I'm like, okay, this is a little tad bit ridiculous now, you know. But anyway, let's just jump right into some statistics as far as homelessness in the United States is. And I'm pretty sure some of you guys are probably already aware of this, but if you're not, I want you guys to I want to go over with you guys some of the states or cities rather that has a large homeless population. Of course, New York City leads with 88,000 people that are being reported as homeless or without housing. Los Angeles comes in next. Los Angeles City, Los Angeles County with 71,000. Seattle, King County, 14,000. San Diego City and County, 10,000. Metropolitan Denver, 10,000. San Jose, Santa Clara City and County, pretty much 9,900. Oakland, Berkeley, Alameda County, 9,700. Phoenix, Mesa, Maricopa County, 9,600. Sacramento City and County, 9,200. And then San Francisco comes in at 7,500. And that I'm reading from is a USA Facts. And it says about 653,104 Americans were experiencing homelessness in January 2023, according to the Department of Housing and Urban Development. HUD divides the U.S. into 381 continuums of care, which are responsible for coordinating the homelessness services in their area. These regions can be a city, a city and county, such as Spokane County in Washington, which includes the city of Spokane, or a group of rural areas. In 2023, 49 continuums of care included major cities. 58 were largely urban but without a major city. 165 were largely suburban, and 108 were largely rural. About 53% of the nation's homeless people lived in the continuums of care containing the 50 biggest cities. Now, which cities has the largest homeless population in 2023? I just told you New York City was first, Los Angeles were all leading uh, that. And then it also says that the population resulted by each continuums of care depended on the specific areas they cover. And the continuums of care population data is not directly available through government agencies. Yeah, yeah. And here's another thing that I want some of you all to also understand when it comes to uh homelessness as it relates to in education now. And that is, of course, we have a lot of students that are truant. They're always, some of them are never in a school district for a large for the entire year. Sometimes they go half of the year. Sometimes, it's lucky if they finish the entire year at all. And then they'll leave, go to one school district, and then turn back around the next year, or even before the year is over with, coming right back to the school district. So that's a lot of that as well, as far as registration is concerned. But here's another thing that I want to bring up to you as I'm closing out this, and that is when I was going to school, when I was in high school, and I didn't know this until I graduated, but my mother and my grandmother always have lived together when I was growing up. It's just what it was. They were just, decided to have it that way, and it wasn't an issue. It wasn't until, oh gosh, uh, I know I was out of, I think it was about, maybe I was about 10 or 11 years of age when my mother and grandmother uh, moved. Um, my grandmother moved out, but that was because my stepfather came into the picture. And so my grandmother was like, I think my mom and my stepdad probably need some space. You know what I'm saying? She just didn't think it was, she needed to be in the household. But that's neither here nor there. Where I'm trying to go with this is that I didn't know, because I lived with my grandmother. My grandmother was in the household, that schools look at that as if I was homeless because I wasn't in a traditional housing situation, if you will. But my parent was there. So I found that I was like, oh my gosh, so the school district considered me to, be homeless in a roundabout sort of way. I just thought that was kind of weird. So again, what definitions, what determines homelessness? And again, it definitely is a problem. And not only that, we hear a lot about a lot of people saying that, some people, you know, are begging for money, or they beg for money, this, that, and the other. And then if you turn around and you look and you see them, they're getting into their fancy cars and they're going about their way because, begging for money, or I hope maybe that's not the terminology I need to use, the political correct terminology I need to use. So if that offends someone, I apologize. But to see someone asking for assistance, saying we'll work for food or spare some change or something like that, Some people saying that, some people actually use that as a side hustle as well. It's definitely a problem, no doubt about it. It's a problem. But to think now, someone, suggests, hey, stay awake or go to jail. Like, wow. you know. So hopefully the states will do right by their citizens, in this particular situation. Hopefully we can really and truly find a solution to what we would call this homeless population that America has in general. So let me know, well, what you think about that. What is your viewpoint on the homeless population and the Supreme Court stepping in and basically saying, hey, to the states is, hey, you guys can deal with your homeless population the way you see fit, and if you do want, to arrest them, so on and so forth, yeah, it is what it is. But anyway, I want to say thank you guys if you made it to this point in my commentary. Again, my motto over here is very simple. Put your behind where your heart desires to be. And whenever I leave my mother's presence, she always says to me, she says, baby, remember I love you, but God loves you best. I look forward to seeing you guys next video. And until then, you should know what to do by now. All right, take care of yourselves.